Oh, hey, it's Ken, and it's good to see you again. You've caught me in the Vancouver airport, and I'm making a last-minute trip to the mining operation. And this video is going to be very interesting because not everything's going well. Gold mining is a precarious industry, to say the least. But like everything I do on this project, I'm going to be completely transparent with you, and I'm going to point out some issues that we're having with equipment and what we're doing up there, because I know there's thousands of people following this video series, and I'm really hoping that somebody's gonna have some good advice for us along the way. So I'll be back to you in a second. Stick with me. We're going mining. Yeah, so I just got off the plane from Toronto to Vancouver. It's 10:30 in the morning here. It's Labor Day, so it's actually a holiday, but I had to get out here. This was a last-minute trip. We've had a ton of equipment issues up at the mine. We bought a new dump truck, well, new to us. Keep having issues with it. The excavator that we bought back in March, we've had issues with. We bought another excavator. It was on Vancouver Island, and it took almost 5 weeks to get it to us. We had some real issues with the company that was hauling it for us, and they kept making excuses, which set us back because you can't do what we do without an excavator. Then we realized that the mining equipment we got with the property, the two shaker plants, just weren't cutting the bill. Between the two of them, they were only pushing about, I want to say, 20 to 30 yards an hour. And remember, it's about an ounce of gold for every 100 yards. That's kind of like the industry standard. So we had to find some better wash plant. And we found a really amazing deal. It was, I mean, what's amazing in gold mining? It was a couple $100,000, but it's a trommel system. If you don't know what trommel is, just Google it. And this trommel will do between 100 and 150 yards an hour. So we're really excited about that. The big reason I came out here this time is I wanted to meet with Dan and spend some time with him because he's, shouldering this whole bill himself with everything that's happening at the mine. And my job is to kind of be a moral support for him as well as anything else. Then the other thing was we're still trying to figure out the right way to get the gold down to the refinery technique. And right now, like they've suggested we could put it on a plane and ship it down and do some things. I just don't feel comfortable with that. So normally Dan would bring it down, but there's so much going on at the mine that if Dan's gone to do that, it's gonna take him 2 days. It's a day down and a day back. So I wanted to double end this trip. So I'm only going up for one night. I am gonna stay on site tonight. I'm gonna show you the new equipment that we have at the mine and everything is going on there. And then I'm gonna fly back tomorrow afternoon with the gold. They've got about 12 ounces there now. They've been washing dirt all weekend and they're doing a cleaning today, a final cleaning, and so hopefully there's a lot more, but we're gonna wait and see when we get there. It's been really tough. I mean, frankly, I still would have done it. Like, I'd look back and say, would I still have done it if I'd have known how many issues we were gonna have? And the answer is absolutely yes, because here's what we know definitively. We've had geological studies done that tell us that there is literally hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't wanna say the B word, but the geologists that ran the studies said easily hundreds of millions of dollars of gold in the ground there. And most of it is within 50 to 70 feet of the surface. So that got us all really excited, and that's why we're doing this project. But it's like any business, we're gonna deal with issues, and getting to profitability is an elusive animal. We did it really quickly with our hot tub company. We're struggling to get to profitability with the gold mine, but we're gonna make it. Anyway, I'm gonna jump in a taxi and head over to the south terminal. I gotta take a little plane up to Williams Lake, and you're coming with me. All right, well, this starts my 5.5 hour wait. There's just no easy way to do this. The gold mine is in a place that's really close to a big town in central British Columbia called Williams Lake. And I've tried every way in the world to get there. Sometimes I'll fly into Kelowna and drive for 5 hours. That gets me there. It's probably the closest major airport, but Vancouver makes more sense a lot of times, especially when I'm dropping gold off at the refinery on the way back down. So the only problem with it is here I'm in called the South Terminal here at Vancouver Airport. And this is where all these really amazing little commuter airlines are, but it's not convenient. It just isn't. So they only fly a couple days a week into this little airport. You guys have seen other videos that I've done that, and the reason it's such a quick trip, so I'm flying out today at 3 o'clock. I get in at 4:30. It's an hour to the gold mine, so I'll get there about 6. I'm going to stay overnight in the trailer, trying to save as much money as I can. And then I'm going to fly back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and then Wednesday morning I'll drop the gold off at Technique and then get a flight back to Toronto Wednesday night. Or, well, right now I'm scheduled to go back Thursday morning because that was the original plan, but I'll see if I can get out Wednesday night. You know, in a lot of these videos I've been doing, and I know why you guys are watching this, and I really appreciate you being part of this, but don't forget, I'm giving away 10 ounces of gold at the end of this mining season. In fact, I'm giving away these 10 ounces of gold live on stage at the Real Estate Investor Summit. We're hosting the Real Estate Investor Summit in Toronto, Canada from October 31st until November 3rd. It's going to be amazing. It's the fastest growing real estate investors conference in this country. We have Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank coming to speak at it, Michelle Romano, Mike Holmes, and 2 more world-renowned guests that I haven't even announced yet. The room will hold 1,500 people, and what I'm going to do is on Sunday at 1 o'clock, I'm going to draw, and one of you is going to win 10 ounces of gold, which right now it's about 3,400 Canadian an ounce, so about $34,000 worth of gold I'm giving away on stage. And the way it's going to work is really simple. In order to get into this draw, you have to watch every one of these videos. You have to comment on all these videos. You have to subscribe to our channel, and you have to share the videos on another social media page and just help us promote all of this. So don't forget we're doing that. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting episode for you because it's going to be an interesting episode for me too. It's not going well at the mine. I'll be completely transparent with everybody on this. But I mean, by most people's standards, you'd say it is going well. So far, we've refined, so we've dug out of the ground, put into the refinery, and gotten cash in our account, about $185,000. That's how much mine gold we've done this season, but we've been plagued with equipment breaking down, and it's really hurting our business plan, obviously. And we have bills to pay. We have some lenders, and we have equipment rentals and fuel and all of these types of things. So by now, we were really hoping to be closer to $500,000 worth of gold. But you know, this equipment, when we bought the property and we assumed control of this and bought all their equipment, we didn't realize how aged the equipment was. And we've been plagued with breakdowns, and we've had to buy more equipment than we thought we would. But we're really excited about what we have up there now. You guys are going to see this new trommel in action that we've got, and it literally, so here's the deal, that trommel should do about 120 yards of pay dirt an hour. And recently we've been getting as much as an ounce for every 80 yards of pay dirt. So if we go for 10 hours at 120 yards an hour, and let's call it 100, then we're talking 10 ounces of gold a day. That's what our plan is, or even more. So that's what we're hoping that happens up there. Anyway, I'm just going to spend some time here right now in the South Airport. And we're going to get up there. I'm going to show you guys around. I'm going to show you all the issues. There's a couple things that I'm going to wait and tell you about when I get up there, because I know a lot of people with mining experience are watching this series, this city slicker that buys a gold mine, and how I'm handling it. And so any advice anybody wants to give me, I'd really appreciate it. And let's see how it goes. Okay, here I am again, back at the Likely Gold Mine. I love the name of this place. I just have to tell you, I'm going to take you guys on a tour right now so you can see what they've done. I got here about 20 minutes ago, and I am alone in the woods on this trip. Dan picked me up at the airport and then dropped me off here, and he's going to be back first thing in the morning. No risk of forest fires or anything. They've actually had frost here in the mornings. It's the 3rd of September, but that's how far north we are in British Columbia, and all the mosquitoes are gone and everything, so it's really cool. Just give you guys a little indication of what I'm living in out here. So I am definitely roughing it here. There's the shower, and there's the bedroom. So like I was telling you guys in the first clip just a few minutes ago for you guys, it was about 8 hours ago when I was talking to you guys at the airport, but it's a totally different mine site. So think about the last video you watched if you're following the series with me, and I'm going to walk you around here and show you what all we've done since the last time I was here and why we've been shut down for a couple weeks getting this all set up. And it's just at twilight, so it's right at sunset. So I'm going to try and do as much of this as I can tonight. Now, of course, everybody's at home, but they're all going to be back here at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to show you the new system working tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. But let me flip this around so you can see. So I've been telling you all about this new trommel. There it is. Just to kind of give it to some perspective, those are the old wash plants that we were using that were getting 20 to 25 yards an hour. And you can kind of see those wash plants. We haven't moved them at all, by the way. The excavator used to sit over there. So you see that now. Let's look at that. Now let's go over to this guy here. It's massive, and it literally will do somewhere between 100 and 120 yards an hour. Oh man, but let me show you what we've done. So we had troubles with the excavator that we originally bought. So this is the new old Hitachi excavator that we got. That just showed up 3 days ago. 75 grand for that. And then way over there, see the big shiny dump truck in the distance? And the big water tank beside it, that was 40 grand for that dump truck. And that new trommel was about 150 grand. But I'm gonna walk up here. So this is how they're loading it. So everything here, all this dirt, this whole area, this is pay dirt. This is full of gold. And this is the same pay dirt that we've been getting about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces every 100 yards. That is sitting up there, but I think I'm gonna go this way. Everybody pray that I don't kill myself doing this, but I just want to be able to give you guys a really good view of how this beast works. So our team here, the reason we were shut down is they had to build this whole platform that it sits on. And of course, because we're out in the wilderness, you can see how they've built it. I don't know if I can get a good angle of it there. Yeah, should be able to. You see, I'll show you from another side. So what happens now is the pay dirt is picked up with the bucket. It's about, I think it's, I can't remember, so many yards. And then it comes up into and is dropped into the hopper here and goes down into the trommel. The trommel spins. All of the big rocks and everything it's the tailings goes straight out the end. But then everything that has the gold in it, the fine dirt and the gold, goes through a chute into the bottom. And there's the, that's how tired I am. I can't even remember the names. The sluices down here. So it comes out here. This is called a nugget trap. There's lots, that's where you're going to find your big nuggets and everything. And then it divides and it goes into the 2 sets of mats. Because you can imagine we had little sluices before, but now we're doing 6 times more material, so you need all that extra space, and then all the water goes back in there, and then it's refed into there. And then today, the problem they had, they got it going. See if I can climb up this ladder. I'm being a real idiot with you guys. Safety is definitely not my middle name. Yeah, so there you go. So they put this on it today, and they welded this on here so that the big rocks can't go in there, because the big rocks were going in and getting stuck. Then it shoots into there, and then goes down into the trommel. But you can see how big this thing is. This thing is a beast. So it can focus on me, and I'm going to go down the ladder. I want to take you on a little walk here because it's just freaking amazing here. All the new material and all the new area that we have now. So I mentioned in the last video when I was here, we had a group called Community Forest here, and they were, check this out. Let me just turn this around again. This is all, everything I'm standing on now is all the pay dirt. So there's gold in all this. It's about, they think there's 600 to 700 yards here. So could be anywhere from 8 to 10 ounces of gold in there. You can get a good feel for everything is. Oh yeah, and then that trailer right there is the generator that runs the trommel. And that generator cost us another $55,000. So this was the big risk. We had bought a bunch of equipment and we inherited a bunch of equipment. Well, it turns out, and this is the old let the buyer beware expression comes into play here, because, and this, I'm not being critical of the person who sold us this mine, because he told us the equipment was old, but essentially we've now replaced every bit of the equipment that we got with the mine. And what we're actually going to do, it's all hobby level mining equipment. I think you guys probably heard me saying that in earlier videos. So we're going to sell it. And we think we're going to make about 150 grand selling all this old equipment. I'm not going to walk all the way down there, but if I turn this around, you'll see here, see the red pump there? So that's another pump we bought, which was another $40,000, which is just wonderful. But this is what I'm the most excited about. Tomorrow I'm going to show you some maps when Dan's back here for the geological studies. But remember in the earlier videos, I talked a lot about the bullion pit. And one of the things, once I started to really understand what we had our hands on here, if you go back to like the second video, I even show you the bullion pit. Well, the bullion pit was a massive, massive mine back at the turn of the century. We're talking like 1890 to 1930 or 40. They pulled millions of ounces of gold out of it. Well, what we've found is, and what our geologists, when they were here doing their studies, showed us, is that this is all an extension. It's the same ancient river. And that river goes all the way up there. Now, if you go back and compare this to the old videos, there's a video, I think the third or the fourth video, I walked over on this side of the mine, and this is as far as I got, and it was all trees. So everything right in front of us here would be heavily forest. And this is what's happened. The community forest folks came in and they took out about 5 acres straight up there. Well, guess what is straight that way? The bullion pit. And right in the middle of this is the same channel. It's basically the river that went from the bullion pit straight through this area down into the Quesnel River, which is straight that way. So we have all the geological studies now and all the seismic studies that show that that ancient river goes straight up the center here. But what it does is it comes off here. I'm going to walk you up there now, and comes around in corners. And so we can look at that, and we have the depths that say exactly what the depths are, but as we go up here, we've dug some little test holes now. We are fully permitted, and we're gonna dig all of this up in the last 8 weeks of this year. And through this whole area, we're gonna go down about 40 feet because that's where the channel is. What's really amazing is these ancient rivers, they didn't go straight, they went on angles. And so if you think about how water flows, where your biggest gold deposits are gonna be, are where the water slowed down a bit. And where's that gonna be? It's gonna be in corners, right? So if it goes on an angle like this and then over, well, you want to be going in that corner there type thing. That's where it is. And so as we go up here, you're going to see a little bit of this. Now I got to be really careful because we're at sunset and I'm out in the middle of the woods by myself. And so I got to be careful of the bears and stuff. In fact, I don't think I'm even going to go up much farther up here. But there's one pit we started to dig. And we did this with the old wash plants before we got the trommel set up. And we got 4 ounces in 220 yards of dirt right out of that pit right there. So we're going to start digging like crazy there. But then if you notice, it's going to be hard for you to see in a video, but if you go straight up there, it veers off to the left and it's a hard bank in the corner, which means, and it goes down, it's like almost a right angle, which the geologist told us that area up there is where we're going to see a lot of gold. But you can see how much logging's been done here and all the logging that's there. And it's really unbelievable. So as Dan was bringing me here tonight, he explained to me that they've had the trommel running a couple times. When they got it running, because they didn't have that grate over the top, the grate over the top that I just showed you that they just put on is called a grizzly. And that grizzly is designed to stop all the big rocks from falling into the trommel, because they were finding that when they were loading it, the big rocks would jam the tube, the trommel, from turning. So they put this grizzly on it now, and the grizzly is actually on an angle. You'll see it as we go back down there, so that the big rocks will hit it and roll right off the end. And Dan was telling me, now I don't know if he said this just, because he was feeling the pressure of me coming or whatever it was, but he believes that they're going to put the final touches on it tomorrow morning, and tomorrow should be the first full day that they're running the new trommel. Look at all the massive amount of timber. Now this is all red cedars and fir trees, and so it's a lot of money. Now what I love about the community forest people coming in and doing this is that, and that's all their logging equipment. In the last video I saw this here, I didn't know what it was, and I said, oh, we got some new piece of equipment, I don't know what it is. Well, that belongs to community forest. They use that for taking the trees down and cleaning them off. They explained to me that this is probably all the timber that they have down here. It's probably about $150,000 worth of wood when they sell it. And they sell it, and all the money goes back into the community, likely British Columbia, which is really cool. The guys have also been really busy here. They've created a 4-pond system so that all the sludge and the real dirt and the debris on the top comes through a tube over there into this one, so it doesn't get recirculated into the trommel. And it's just freaking amazing. Isn't this beautiful? I wish you guys could see this. Well, actually, let me tell you this, I was walking over. So one of the things I'm going to do tomorrow is we're here, along with this claim, right across the street. I'm going to go there tomorrow and walk it. We bought 4.5 acres of land. And what we're going to do with this 4.5 acres of land is we're going to turn it into a wilderness retreat. So you guys all know that my main business is the resorts and hotels that we're building. Well, this is going to become one of them. So the Quesnel River that you can kind of see off in the distance, you can tell there's a space there where there's a big massive river there, one of the best salmon fishing rivers in this entire area. So we're going to build a retreat over there that's going to have 30 to 40 cottages and cabins on it, and people who love fishing are going to come and stay with us. We're obviously going to have a whole bunch of mini Nordic spas everywhere and really make it romantic and intimate for couples. But then we're also going to have a gold mining aspect. So if people want to come out here and try gold mining, we'll bring them down to the mine, we'll have tours, we'll teach them how to pan gold, all these really fun adventure things that we're going to be doing here. Hey, go into the comments and let me know if you would be interested in coming and staying at our retreat, at our resort that we're going to build, and do some fishing on the Quesnel River, or come try your hand at gold mining. It's going to be so much fun. Anyway, let me just spin this around again, and then I'll finish up for tonight. So you can see, I was up there with you before, but you see how that's on an angle. Let me go around the side here so you can really see it. And they put it on an angle on purpose, so all those big rocks, and it looks like they've tested it already, because there's a whole bunch of big boulders sitting right at the bottom of it there. So we went from that little setup to that monster. 25 yards an hour to 120 yards an hour. Remember, an ounce of gold for every 80 to 120 yards. That's what's really exciting about it. There's the loader. That's another new piece of equipment. That little green loader down there works. Doesn't work really well, but we got that. And then this old 1970s John Deere excavator is there. And this portion of our show today is brought to you by Jepson Fuels. If you're in the Cariboo region of British Columbia and you're looking for a fuel supplier for your company or any of your projects, check out Jepson Fuels. They're amazing to deal with. I'll go right up on their thing there. There's their phone number. If you're out in this area and you're looking for them, write that number down. Let me get that out of the way. Williams Lake is who we're using. They're amazing to deal with. They actually lease us the tanks for the season, about $120 a month. The little white one, the big white one, is gas, and the massive green one is diesel for all this heavy equipment. And then we'll go one last trip down here. So now on this site in our permitted area, we have about 6 acres, and we can go as deep as we want to. So this is another piece of equipment we got with the mine. It's horrible. Doesn't really run right now. We do have it working. It's a backup in case we need it. And then there's the old trailer that the guy we bought it from had. There are rats and mice and everything like that, so we just gave up on it. And then down here is where they've been digging more pay dirt. Lots of amazing. What's really amazing about this is if we go back and we think the river comes right up there. That's where I was with you guys just a few minutes ago. Comes straight down here and continues right down there, and just about 200 feet from me here is a cliff that goes right down to the Quesnel River. And friends, that's it. Now, the problem that we've had is that when we were just running those 2 little wash plants, we were only getting an ounce or 2 a day, and we knew that was the best that we were going to get. There's a lot of clay in the soil here, and those wash plants, they're called shaker table wash plants or shaker wash plants. They're horrible at dealing with that clay. So the trommel, that's what it's designed for, is for placer mining, dealing with lots of boulders, lots of rocks, kicking them out of the way, and just the heavy jets of water that are shooting at it inside of that rolling trommel just separates everything beautifully. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow you're going to get a chance to see it all in action, and the guys are going to be using it. I'm only here for about 24 hours. My flight back down to Vancouver, I'm going to go back down with the gold tomorrow. My flight's at 6 o'clock, so I'll be here all day. I'm going to get lots of footage of the guys actually using it, and I'm going to cross my fingers that tomorrow is the first day of that trommel. If everything starts going tomorrow, this is our conversation, Dan and I, at dinner tonight. At the time I'm recording this video, if we're lucky, the gold mining season will go to the end of October. Realistically, they believe it's going to be the second to third week of October. So we did our math based on the second week, the end of the second week, which is 42 days. And when this trommel is working properly, it should absolutely do 120 yards an hour. So about 1,300 yards a day at about an ounce per 100 yards. And if it does it, cross our fingers, and we can go 7 days a week, we could salvage the season and make about $1.5 million, which would give us enough money to pay our creditors, buy new equipment, maybe even pay a little royalty to our investors, and get us all set up to explode this thing next year. Anyway, time for me to go in for the night to button down. I'm a little bit nervous outside at night, to be honest with you. When I can't see things, I don't know what can sneak up on me. So now I'm back in the safety of our little trailer, and that's it for the night. I hope you guys are appreciating this, and it's teaching you things. If there's anybody in the gold mining industry that is watching my videos, please go into the chat and give me whatever feedback you want. And remember, I'm giving away 10 ounces of gold at the Real Estate Investors Summit. And how you're going to get in that draw is watch every one of these videos in the So I Bought a Gold Mine series. Comment on all the videos, subscribe to our channel, and share the video at least once, every one of the videos at least once on one of your social media pages. You do all those things, we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do the draw live in front of 1,500 people, and you just might win 10 ounces of gold. We'll see you in the morning.